Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jan Scott. I'm your 12:30 speaker, speaking over your lunch plate about AI ethics. I hope I can get your attention. Um, for those in the audience who's paying attention, who actually spend time thinking about AI ethics? Who worry about AI? Anyone? I think it's very normal that for all of us feel that AI might become AI might become human-like and might threaten our very existing being. And often when we think about AI, we think about what's a lot of movies and Terminators and the Ex Machina, who shows that AI almost like a human. But it's very important to distinguish between human intelligence and machine intelligence. Let's take a look at what's the difference between human intelligence and machine intelligence. Human intelligence is a result of 4 billion years of unbroken evolutionary chain that we taking data with no discrimination. Right now, you're taking all the sound, all the color, all the faces, all the information. You don't really filter, and then you process selectively. And in this process, we are very self-aware, and we don't have a lot of processing power, but our brain is highly efficient. Our brain only takes 30 watt of power, and yet we using such a little electricity to process still the most complex computer on this planet. And artificial intelligence is ultimately still calculating zeros and ones. It's extremely powerful compared to human brain. It often has, until most recently, often still have pre-selected algorithm to tell the AI what kind of data to process. And also, despite how everybody say that currently there's no evidence to show that AI is actually self-aware. So when you compare those two intelligence together, there's a fundamental problem that happened between aligning the human values into AI. So first of all, how do you translate this human value into logic and into math, and then somehow AI will be able to spot the pattern? To give you a very simple example, many people think ChatGPT and generative AI kind of bot will be able to start to behave almost like a human. And we also heard in the news that in ChatGPT, be able to take bar exams and pass bar exam with a very high score. But I asked ChatGPT a very simple question, and this will test your attention and your logic. If in the room there are 100 people, 100 murderers, and you kill one of them, how many murderers left in the room? 2 left? How many, if in the room there are 100 murderers and you kill one of them, how many murderers left? 100. ChatGPT says it's 99. So if this kind of common sense is not really making sense to machine, even if you can pass the bar exam, how can you rely on that, machine can truly represent your human value? So the real answer is actually 9900 or 101. 99 means that you could kill that person without in the room. 100, if you kill someone, you become murderer too. And 101, basically, if you're dead, a dead murderer is still a murderer. So it could be 101 as well. So all these nuances is very hard for machine to understand. Therefore, this human value aligned with machine is a very, very big problem we have to solve right now. So currently, the landscape for AI ethics, including we talk about transparency, accountability, fairness, human value. And there's a lot of debate in terms of underlying data. So underlying data is a very big problem. It's if we as human, not fair, not transparent, not ethical, and the data does not really represent all human value, how can we demand the machine to represent the human value as well. And some people on social media start to, it's hard not to mention the biggest crisis happening in this region so close to us right now. And ChatGPT asked people ask ChatGPT in terms of, their view on the conflicts in Gaza. And the answer in terms of on Palestinian side and Israeli side is dramatically different. And it's a reflective of how our overall data in human discussion showing online. And also there's a lot of potential dangerous application of AI, for example, autonomous weapons and unethical, implants, etc. All of this demand a lot of debate. And also, it's quite important to remember none of this technology is developed in silo. So biotech, genome, and AI, they're all developing in hand. In our lifetime, we will see that potentially genetically edited baby with implant, and that becomes superhuman. So for people who have means to access that kind of enhancement versus the people who don't have that access, the distance is no longer just, if you're born in the reasonably free society and if you work hard, you're smart, you will be able to catch up. If we get to that point, people in the bottom will never be able to catch up. So currently there are a lot of risks and challenges, and of course biases, transparency. On transparency, in fact, there are a lot of people don't know. Large models right now is very much a black box. We don't really know which part of the data actually help the AI to make what decision. So a lot of AI is still unexplainable. How did they get to the point? Because there are so infinite amount of data for them to process. So we don't really know. And accountability, it's also a tricky question. If an AI made a wrong decision, is that the AI company should take responsibility, or the AI? Can AI actually take any legal responsibility? A lot of the generative AI right now running into IP issue. So, for example, images being used by someone's copyright. So Getty Image has already sued quite a few image processing companies because they're using their IP proprietary images in their process image. So a lot of us, when you're using those image processing AI, don't pay attention. When you when you clicked and then user agreement, you actually agreed that you taking all the legal responsibility of the IP if any of the illegal images being used instead of the company. Lastly, of course, job displacement. So this is a bigger question, not in terms of replacement, but in terms of education and how to prepare. Finally, right now, there are multiple countries have already taken a lot of steps, but not enough. Recently in China, in August, they even started China's first National Data Bureau. China's first National Data Bureau will have not only just in terms of defending the security and privacy and data monopoly, but also it has to represent in terms of strategic direction when the data being processed, which part will be able to process for public health and which part will be protected for individual. So we have a lot of actions to take. I can share these slides with anyone we want, but anyone wanted this slide, I'm happy to share. But I think that the most important thing to remember here is that when we talk about ethics, when we talk about regulation, we always have this empress complex. We look for somebody else on the top to solve the problem. We're always hoping if the CEO of the tech company to be more responsible, if the regulator can do a better job, then we will be better off. My suggestion is that we have to start from ourselves as a consumer, as company decision makers. How do we conduct our everyday life and everyday decision reflect on the value that speaks to you? In terms of establishing principles, fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, and benefit logic, and human control is very important. Double click on benefit logic. This part is very important. No matter how much AI is powerful, we have to keep human in the loop. And the human have to be the principal. AI just as a tool. You'll be surprised to hear this deck is actually prepared by my bot. It's prepared by AI. But I went through every word and every line of content and make sure that actually reflect what I want to say and added the point that does not, it was not included. So you could use AI as assistant to help you, but you have to be able to design the human value in the process and the beginning, involving different diverse stakeholders, implement human oversight, and be able to enable human intervention. This is very important. And of course, create feedback. Right now, I don't think AI has, people are rushing to the hype, and it's very urgent to build public trust. Of course, we need to, increase the awareness of AI ethics, but also it's very important who decide the ethics. And ethics from different culture, different region is very different. Support AI regulation, build confidence in fair AI, but solving also the underlying data challenges. If we are reading media, probably a lot of people will know that our underlying data, what we feed into AI, does not really represent the overall human value. Lastly, the path forward. I think all of the things I listed here are very important, but I want to highlight one point, which is education. In terms of our next generation, they will grow up as a generative AI native, and all of them will have second brain, and all of them will be very native in terms of using AI. And how do we educate them, protect their privacy, use AI, and not rely on AI, and be able to always think as the principal and create a more equitable and fair and transparent world for the next generation is very important. Additionally, for all of the investors and all the founders to promote value-based leadership is very important. Right now, we in the world, it's full of people who understand the how and the what. Often they don't pause to ask a why and a why not. And then for a lot of people, pause for why and why not. Often they don't know what AI can and cannot do. So we need to fill that gap and promote people who know how and what, and help them to really pause to think why and why not. By the end of this decade, I think we will all have our second brain. Every individual will have your second brain. Every organization will have your second brain. How much of that second brain represent your value, your corporation's value, and how much you created this process to be able to intervene whenever that machine does not represent your value is a very, very important question to think from today and build that foundation today. That is my very quick sharing over lunch. Thank you very much for paying attention in this very noisy room. Thank you.